So, is the point about you're not living my life for me anymore, right? And the only place you can control me is on the ship when I'm with you, right? Or we go out to sea on a run, right? Now, don't ask, don't tell. What does that mean? If you ask me if I'm gay, and I tell you no, you asked. And if someone asked me if I was asked if I was gay in the Navy, what will I tell them? No, no. Or will I tell them yes and I said no? Why would they ask me that though? Because people in the Navy are rumored to be gay. Damn. More so than copying much now. See? Copy him much now.
Gave you a shout out. Look at this. You said the official CSJO whisper. That's gonna be my queen. That's cool.
Now, I can critique and comment on you now since you're doing it to other stuff, right? See, monkey do. Okay? We're all trying to do something here. The hardest thing to do is to communicate to another human being you need help. And yet, you're not getting the help you really need, but they're trying to help you, but they're not willing to listen to your real situation. Right? Why do you think I keep telling you a story, right? What I know happened, right? Why it would confuse even you, right? If you were in the same situation, right? And you can't tell me a 16-year-old man who was in a car wreck where he blacked out was in the hospital only 2 days wouldn't interest you today. You're lying. Oh, no, we're lying. You also can't tell me that a young man falling 3 stories and getting out the hospital in under a month. 2 months. 2 months, right. Right. And by the first month is up on crutches, right? Second month, right? And leaves the hospital, right? Because again, right, we're all on the same planet. No, it's not. I'm also trying to help promote things I watch, right? Right. So I didn't quite catch The Voice tonight or Finding Dory. I'm more watched 911, right? And a little bit of The Neighbors and Bob Hart's Abishola, but again, um, and again, right? You know why? You know why? Right. I'm trying to be an adult contemporary star when all you seem to be looking for is pop stars, right? What do you think I'm trying to be here, right? Do you think I'm trying to reach little kiddies or adult women? Right. Now, I'm not talking about she's just 16 years old, leave her alone, they say, right? which are songs I was listening to growing up. What I'm talking about is songs of dating someone and then suddenly you're alone, right? You did everything in your mind to get to the woman, right? But then suddenly she's gone, like Hall & Oates, for example, right? Something of that genre, right? What the hell? So, I'm trying to work out my own sound too. That's why I got all these instruments and all that, right? And what I want to do with it, right? But, so 911 was about a treasure hunt, and again, right? This author guy, put out this treasure box, kind of like a treasure hunt, right? With $5 million in the treasure box, right? And again, right? He had someone to bury it, of course, right? And if you watch the show tonight, you know how it ended, right? But I don't spoil shit, right? But I will give you a few examples of what happened tonight. One involved firing it. Mm-hmm. Right. One involved even the firefighters getting involved with the treasure hunt, right? Mm-hmm. And again, one involved the woman falling into a septic tank. Ooh shit. Ooh shit. And things like that, right? Right? So on 911 Lone Star, and I kind of caught more again. All rise, all rise. Right. And I done seen Finding Dory on ABC, right? It's just a television broadcast for years since 2017 when it came out. They're finally letting the few people who haven't seen the movie see the movie for free on TV. Yeah, right. Like even that's free anymore. They're wanting you to even buy radio now. XM and all that. Serious, right? I know. Right. Like an average person can afford that even. But that's how you do anything, even entertainment, right? If you want people to watch your shows, right? But it's also bad because what are you doing that, right? First, you give the first hit for free, right? Right. then you slowly charge me, right? So that I come back for more. You get us all addicted to it first, and then we have to buy it from you. You don't get it anymore. The best things in life are free, but you can keep them for the birds and bees. Now give me money. That's what I want. To quote the Beatles there. that famous song they sung on the radio. Uh-oh. Leslie Jones, life coach, right? Oh, McGregor's on. Episode.
Well, you don't want to do things good. Everyone else does.
Itchy. They were so itchy, the pants, and I just chose the wrong, very Scottish pants.
Itchy pocket pants, you know? Well, thank you for being with us. I can't wait to see the whole thing. Halston premieres on Friday on Netflix, and of course, you're our only hope. You know that. You McGregor, everybody.
For a Colbert bump, but I know your people will. Let's bump it up. It comes out tomorrow. The man is Jake Tapper.
The devil may dance. Okay. So I'm showing my night, but I've been watching on TV, right? Now, All Rise, they dealt with a few different cases, one involving child abuse, right? One involving a corrupt cop who was training other cops to be corrupt, and again, right? He got 3 years. I'll just tell you that, right? On Lone Star, they sniffed out the arsonist, but he had a surprise for them at the end, but you know, think positive, right? It worked out, you know, right? Alright, and then I watched The Good Doctor, which had to do with miscarriages, this particular episode, and dying of cancer, and things like that. Transgenderality again, right? One of the doctors was transgendered and was born a girl. Alright, then you got Debris, which dealt with his time in Afghanistan and how he was dealing with an Afghani woman, right? And how she affected his tour, right? Because she would come to him for help or talk to him, and then she, you know. And it all started with this woman who he ran into as the Debris was being dealt with again, right? At the opening of the show. On Bull, we have this guy who's one of those, if your child is in a situation where you marry someone from another country, right? And say that person steals the child and goes home to that other country, right? And won't let you see the child anymore. Well, sometimes you have to hire special dudes, right, to take care of that. Yeah, right. Now, I was talking, can a person use your image and make a fake tape of you? Yeah. Remember I was talking about that a while back? Right. Well, they did the same thing to this guy. And again, came out in the trial, right? And again, right, I mentioned that as a warning too, right? Earlier too, right? That's why I'm making sure you understand, right? I was never alone with my stepdaughter a day in my life, right? That I know. Now, I hope the girl wasn't trying to sneak up on me and have sex with me and leave me either, but she could do that, right? But I don't know if she did, though. So I can't say nothing about it, right? But when I'm talking about all this, I'm trying to draw you to a conclusion that I wasn't alone with her, right? The only interactions I would have to do with her would have to do with potty training, right? Or help her to get something to eat or drink. I know. Which would be the only reason it would get weird. I know. right? Because, see, if she's waking me up, I don't know what's going on, right? Right. But I'm going to think rationally about it. 4 reasons a child will wake you up in the middle of the night if they wake you up in the middle of the night. First one is get something to drink, right? Usually. She wants a glass of water or even a popsicle pop. Uh-oh. I went there, didn't I? Yeah, I have to have the wooden pops. Right. The second reason is something to eat and drink, whenever you can't have one without the other, usually. The third reason is more obscure, but you still can handle it, right? Making sure she didn't pee herself when she's in there with her aunt. Right. If I admitted to liquor one time, that's what I meant. I'm checking to make sure the child didn't pee herself. The only way you can tell is the smell. If it's a female child, right? That goes back to potty training. Since I don't even know that about my stepdaughter when I met her. How advanced or she was at the time. Who knows what I would have done if she came in there or not to help her go to the bathroom or do what she needed to do now. All I'm saying. Now, one, though, right, might involve having to smell her if she's in there with her mom all night and she's in there with me by the couch or something or in front of the TV, right? We're guessing after that, right? Where she would be at in the living room with me if she came in there to me. And all this is guessing. With no charges formally charged of me ever touching the girl, right? Since 94. So, what am I saying? The only way you could have interacted with the girl normally is normally if she woke me up during the middle of the night to like go to the bathroom and get something to eat or drink, right? And even then, I would just bring her back to her mother and not make a big deal out of it. Unless someone risk quoted my blog. Now, I did say in a 2005 blog, right? I was sleeping on the couch because me and my wife got into a fight on the way to meet her parents in Arkansas. The woman left me stranded in Buckthorn, Tennessee, and I had to get a ride home by calling my mom and getting money wired to me. And I told you after I got home, I took the couch until I could move back to base. And in the process of sleeping on the couch, the daughter who went and stayed with the biological dad for a few days was around me for one day to the end of the weekend, right? For no longer than 4 days, right? Like with her dad. Go figure, right? But anyway, I'm on the couch the whole time. 8 days on the couch. At the most, right? 5 at the least. I don't remember the details. But anyway, if one of those nights, right, the child could have come in there and woke me up or not, I don't recall. Right? First place, I don't remember anything like that happening. Anyway. But I do know, even if I'm mad with the mom, now I gotta show Billie Eilish, this looks damn hot. I saw that earlier today. She's almost 18, right? Don't worry about it. I don't know her. Except what you know about her, right? Not joking around like anyone else. Is part of modern society, right? Now, If I'm one of the two witnesses, though, like I keep trying to explain as well, like Moses or Jesus, what do I have to do to become anything for God? Be born first. Even Jesus himself said, I enter in by the door. I also am the door. By me, if any shall enter, he shall come in and find green pastures. Now that's talking about your biological birth, silly, if it goes over your head. That's right. Jesus himself, to become one of us, was born of the Virgin Mary, who knew no man, that's all we know about it. Whatever went on there, it wasn't a man involved with it. Whatever that may mean to you, right? Well, there are hermaphrodites who are neither a man nor a woman, so what you gonna do, right? The other only way to explain it is a hermaphrodite was with Elizabeth and Mary, not the both of, and I don't know. Call himself Gabriel. I don't know. But whatever's going on, it's happening in the first century, 2,000 years ago. Right? Right. And all we know is this dude named Jesus Christ, around 26 to 33 AD, somewhere in that time zone, right? We don't know exactly when, right? Was preaching forgiveness and repentance of sin, right? And died on the cross to cover our sins until a certain time, right? Well, the disciples wrote books about different things, including the book of Revelations, which deals with the two witnesses who, before the return of the Lord, help you to understand what you lost in translation over the years in trying to interpret the Bible, not according to a spirit in the flesh, but men who are carnal tried to take over the church and make God male only. When a spirit is everything it's in, right? Even the animals are alive by God, not you. You. And even though they're male and female too, God's in both the male and female equally. Radio then. God's equally in Billie Eilish and Steve Colbert. Though Steve Colbert could bully Billie Eilish, being that he's a man and physically dominant over her. But Billie Eilish, like me, can take karate and kick him in the balls one time and he'll leave her alone. Just saying. Just an example there. But anyway. Right? Because she don't know Steven like that, right? You know what I mean? But again, I'm joking, right? Whether you get the joke or not, right? And why does my story concern you unless you're now trying to hurt me over something I had a falling out over you over where you didn't want to reconcile with me, right? Whereas I don't even know what I did wrong, right? 100%, right? And I may have been using sarcasm on you. You know what I mean? Right. Sometimes you say mean stuff after a relationship because you didn't say it during the actual relationship. But what do you mean, right? When you're saying something derogatory towards someone, right? And everything was going fine until they started acting crazy about something and you don't even know what happened, right? What was wrong there, right? I thought you understood me and I understood you, right? But if we didn't, our wires only got crossed a little in that what? I was saying something so horrible to you you couldn't forgive me? Like, let's get married in Jerusalem, or did I get you pregnant and you didn't want to deal with it? Because it was a 1 day stand under a tree, under a blanket, in a park, on a park bench, even in another country where their laws of sex and marriage kind of differ from ours, right? And even nudity is allowed on the beach, right? Well, you stop listening to these. Did you know that? I mean, you didn't know that. But I did. I did. But whatever happened, I'm not telling you I'm one of the two witnesses to break up with you or anything crazy like that either. Or were my shipmates writing you letters like they were me typing them up so you could read them better? Though it would still be fictional. See, usually, if you're using typing paper and the person is handwriting you, the first four letters say, why would he suddenly switch from writing you manually to using a typewriter anyway? I don't know what they did now. I'm guessing. One of the things they could have done is use the E4, the third class petty officer, or the yeoman, whatever his name was, I forget. Because I had other issues besides him. He was not the problem. They were. Two problems. Ben Campbell and Carlos King, I think is his name. So anyway, I'm sitting here because I've been in pain all night with my lower back because I fell 3 stories and be discharged for mental illness that developed in the service. How do you know it developed in the service? Because it involves hearing voices in my head, which I did not do until 93. Ask anyone in my family, I did not go around telling them Jesus or God spoke to me before I joined the Navy. Now, I could have told someone about the dream, right? At the car wreck, maybe, and tell them it had to do with the two witnesses there. And if I'm one of the two witnesses, I won't be in the hospital longer than 2 days anyway, or as long as Jesus is in the grave himself. Whatever they're doing to me there, right? So I'm in a car wreck and I'm in the hospital only 2 days and I'm released, right? Then I fall 3 stories in the military. During my time in the ICU and ER and all that, I come to, right? Off and on. But I'm in there for 2 weeks before they stop doping me up or whatever they're doping me up on. I think it was Tylenol with codeine, but no. I was blacked out for about 2 weeks and don't remember anything discussed with them in full detail, right? But about the beginning of the third week, right? Which, you go 0 to 7 days is 1 week, right? Right. week one. Week two, right? I'm out of it the whole time, right? Week three, okay, they start letting me come out of the stupor they put me in. That's all I can call it, right? And you start improving, right? Rapidly. Now, they start letting me get out the bed and go from bed to chair, right? I start moving around, right? Slowly at first, right? Within the um say third or fourth day, they try to put me on solid food, right? Because up until then, I was only on a liquid diet because there was a lot of internal injury that I didn't think would happen in a three-story fall just because I got locked out of the room. But it did, I guess. Or I was attacked by someone on base and safely got on the roof, right? And off the roof, right? While trying to get into my window to window ledge was open, but since I studied in the jiu-jitsu, I should have been able to do that without any problems. And wouldn't need to even jump normally either, right? Now, if I safely got onto the window ledge and it was only 4 inches from the roof, right? The safest way to get back up is the what? So back on to the roof. Right, right. That's what a ninja would do, by the way. Mm-hmm. Now he has 3 other options left, right? You don't just have to swing back onto the roof. We know that, right? Right. But the safest option, since we're right there, right, is if you're only 4 inches, right, from the roof, swinging back what? On the roof, right? The ninja looks for the simplest way, not the more complicated way. Mm-hmm. Which jumping, okay, you're still 2.25 stories up. Now you can scale down another story, right, which would put you towards the second story window ledge, right, which is still less than 20 feet, right? Probably about 16 there, right? Now, if I jump from my trailer, right, which is what I would tell the people in the front, if I made it to the front or not, right, and we're changing what I don't remember, so it's like amnesia, right? The amnesia started when I tried to get onto the window ledge and blacked out and looked a bit in the air, right? That's all I know, right? Once someone's blacked out, they can't remember that part of the story, right? But if someone's feeding me or leading the witness all this time, and the first thing they bring up is my story about being around the stepdaughter briefly, but also moving back to base and being on base about 20 days before I even fell. There's a lot of time in between there where my ex-wife could have done something but didn't, right? And she even came and visited me in the hospital, so again, and saw I was injured on base, right? I probably never thought nothing different about that either herself. But the problem is, someone is accusing me, right, like we had a conversation about it the night of the accident, right, where I'm trying to get into the window, right, as my final attempt to see if I could get into my room that night, or again would have to sleep in the lounge or somewhere safe until morning, right? Now after that, all I would need is a shirt from one of the dudes, right, to sleep in the lounge. I was already half dressed because our bathroom area is down from the rooms anyway. And you have a shower stall area towards the back, right? And a bathroom area where you can do number 1 or 2, right? That's piss or shit, right? In modern adult language, I guess you want to call it, right? Your kids are too sensitive for those 2 words, so you want to send them to hell for those 2 words. If they even say those 2 words, they're going to hell, huh, Christians? Not send our children to hell for saying the word piss or shit, right? Which means urination or bodily waste that comes out your butthole. And that's everybody's butthole. We go to the bathroom that way. Right. Now, some call it going number 2. Some call it pee-pee, tee-tee, tinkle. But someone's got to grow up here, right? And help me get out of the situation that someone's trying to put me in, right? And help me figure out what the hell happened, right? Because I don't know any of the crap they're bringing up ever happened, right? It should have never happened, right? And all I can do if my daughter comes in there to me or not is treat her like a daughter, right? Or a sister, right? Not an ex-wife. Not an ex-girlfriend. Not as a pedophile would. But as a disabled veteran who was diagnosed with a mental illness, but still was involved with his sister's upbringing, for example, right? And assisted in, was around her when she was being potty trained, at least by his mom. You know, his mom would probably show him how to do all that if he needed to do it himself, right? You know what I mean, right? And help out his sister. And he was about 16 or 17 when she was born anyway, right? But he was around what age then? 12 himself, right? 13 himself, right? When she was born, right? So he wasn't even around her, I don't know, except in a brother capacity, but still helped in changing her diapers, which is what I mean, which is what he means. Or helping her bathe when she was around 4 now. Now by that time, yeah, he was around 17, right? And might would help her bathe or shower or whatever she wanted to do, right? As she was growing up. That's what he means, right? But not sexually, right? Either. Exactly. So my problem though started with a woman named Sheena Johnson, right? In our weird relationship. And that's when I went mentally ill. I know. And that's when I first reported hearing voices ever, and that God spoke to me and told me, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. Now, I did say about the dream that God told me in the dream that I was one of the 2 witnesses by the dream. Right? Now, what that means is I'm reading through the Bible, right? And the Bible says certain things, right? For instance, heaven is my throne and the earth my footstool, right? So the dream is a simple dream. I'm standing in heaven in front of a throne. On the throne is a bright light. Now in John 1, it talks about Jesus dwelling in the light, which no man may approach. Guess how old I was when I had the dream? Neither a man nor a boy. Right, 13. I was 12 going on 13. Neither a boy nor a man. So again, by the dream, I'm the male child, right? And I tried to tell my Sunday school teacher about it, but it flipped her out. I tried to tell certain pastors about it growing up, right? Trying to understand it more, right? Including Pastor Lloyd Ray Davis and Edward J. Thomas, which could stand for John, I think, right? At First Christian Fellowship Church in Waukegan and Norfolk. Right? And they need to get those churches away from those bases, right? If they can, even, I don't know. That man might have been doing something he shouldn't have been doing with those boys in blue. Because he was talking about jerking off with his eunuchs, right? To me and some of the guys who wanted to be eunuchs and were asking about it, right? See, I'm just asking about it to find out what it even is first, right? You know, you gotta see what they're talking about, right? Well, that's when it got weird. Pastor was talking about masturbating with each other. Brother to brother. Brother to brother. I even was approached to take a shower with the dude, right? Which I politely declined. I wasn't ready for that yet. And let him know. No. Then the pastor himself tried to cop a feel. And what I mean is, I was either coming from the bathroom or some other area and was walking near his office, and we kind of ran into each other. He hugged me in an odd way and tried to put his arms down between the buttocks, the center of it, between both cheeks, as they would say, and kind of cop a feel. Now, because we were alone, I know how some of that works out by watching some talk shows growing up. And even though I took karate and could have hit him, I knew in a self-defense situation, he has to physically hit me and leave a bruise, right? But if I hit him first and I leave the bruise, I'm going to get in trouble. He's a pastor, right? He can call witnesses to testify to his character, whereas I'm new to the church. And see, if I hit him, I'm going to get in trouble, not him. So I walked away. That's how I handled the second temptation. The third was when I got to Norfolk, and during the Persian Gulf conflict and war. So that started more in Waukegan, and then I went to Norfolk. Right, got to my ship. Right. So my ship was in dock, right, dry dock, right, for some kind of repairs. Right. When I first got there, and I'm not saying the church didn't help me out a little bit, but come on, right. They were trying to get me to go into an area I wasn't even familiar with in my church growing up. In fact, when we went to summer camp, we did have an incident similar to that, but they just told us not to talk about it. And again, that's probably why I didn't talk about it. What happened with this pastor either. Till now. With all this coming out with Me Too movement. Well, me too, ladies, right? Some crazy pastor is trying to jerk off of his unit in his church. Kind of Jim Jonesy of him, right? And I couldn't do nothing about it, right? I didn't know what to do about it, right? And then the third time involved, I was staying at the apartments behind the church, and I think I was having a wet dream, and one of the dudes tried to wake me up while I was having the wet dream. And wanted to jerk off with me, and I just politely acted like I was asleep. And he left me alone, and I went to stay asleep. Woke up the next morning. Nothing more happened. That's not to get anybody in trouble, but you know, it is something that occurred during my time of going out to that church. And because of all the confusion with these situations, you don't know how to deal with it when you're a young man in the military. And even in the Navy, was written as a mockumentary by the village people, like YMCA, because gay people come out of those organizations. Well, I might have been exposed to a few gay people, I know, right, who were trying to do something they weren't supposed to do with sailors in the Navy, right? And taking advantage of young men who didn't know better. But I kind of knew better. And that's when I started in 91, before I went on tour. met my first sexual conquest and went from there, right? I think the second girl was when I got back, right? I met her in 92, right? Probably around a little bit after March, right? And, mm-hmm. Or even April, right? Because we left in the middle of August, right? Now I went home at the beginning of, let's see, we left September 15th, got back March 15th. We started going on leave in August to September, right? And there are two groups who go home, right? The first group goes home at the end to the beginning of the month, and the second goes from the beginning to the middle, right? And you get 2 weeks leave before you go on leave, right? And then when you get back, the same deal. One group goes on 2 weeks leave, and then the other group 2 weeks leave, right? And you can also go home around Christmas for 2 weeks, right? Now, the first year I was out to sea for Christmas, and well, yeah, kind of, right? Though I went home again, right, in December when I got out, right? So I got Christmas the first year in 90, right? 91, I was overseas, right? 92, I was home, right? Right. 93, again, I was overseas, right? But we got back for October, and we went from March 15th to September 15th as well. Mm-hmm. And again, I got the first 2 weeks leave, and the other people got the second 2 weeks leave, right? But I'm still around the Norfolk area, right? Right. So I'm rehashing my story, but telling you different details than I did before, right? Because it's my story to tell in any order I want to tell if it's not an autobiography, right? And I had these issues develop in the military. Mm-hmm. Okay.